While the styling of each new generation of 911 represents a gentle evolutionary curve, the 2013 Cayman looks dramatically different to its predecessor. It looks less like a Boxster with a roof tacked on, and more like the cohesive, athletic car that it is.
This is a serious problem for me. I don't mean the fact that I've got to review and drive the Porsche Cayman S, but I've got to try and be concise because I've been accused of waffling on about cars way too much. I haven't even driven it, but I love it. So how on earth am I going to be objective? It's a Porsche. It's perfect. Is that concise enough? We did the Boxster earlier in the year, and there was so much hoo-ha and hype about the fact that a Porsche Boxster won South African Car of the Year. Rightly so, because it was head and shoulders above anybody else. And I'm not just saying that because it's a convertible, but even then, driving that Boxster, I just knew if the Boxster is this good, I cannot wait to get my hands on the Cayman. And here we are. We're in the S, so what is different with the third generation? Well, performance is up on both models. So the 2.7 flat 6 in the Cayman is up by 10 kilowatts to 202, and when you get into the S, they've boosted that by 5 kilowatts, taking it up to 239 in that 3.4 litre flat 6. Obviously, the usual stuff we know about Porsche, it comes standard with manual, or you go the PDK route. And chatting to the guys at Porsche, with a PDK system that works so well, with the pedals being that intuitive and the gearing being that dynamic, so that when I want to downshift, it takes that downshift. You don't really find yourself thinking, I really wish I had a manual. The PDK system really does work that well. They reckon this is even better, and I'm about to find out. So for me to do that, I need to make a couple of changes. I need to push my Sport Plus button, slap it into manual. This is something you have to do if you're buying this car. Spend the nearly 6,000 Rand to get the Sport wheel. Why? Because you don't have to declare thumb war with those stupid paddle shifts on the thumbs. The Sport steering wheel gives you an actual proper paddle shift, and it's intuitive and it works well. It is mid-engine driving at its very best. I mean, the previous generation was amazing. The Boxster is amazing. They're trying to tell us they're two separate cars, that you don't say, well, one's convertible and the other's a hardtop. Yeah, that's press talk. They are, but I promise you, a little bit of extra metal on the roof makes a massive difference from a stability point of view, for sure. So what is different? Well, it's got a wider wheelbase, 60 mils. It's also got wider track, both on the front and rear axle. It's got bigger wheels. So all of that is just giving this car unbelievable levels of grip, like it needed it. They've also gone and made some fine little adjustments and tunings on their adaptive dampening system, so that there are more sensors, so it gives you a more compliant ride in normal conditions, but when you are pushing it, it really absorbs the bunch. And this, for me, is what is so good. We are not cruising along on some crazy, beautiful asphalt slick highway in Germany. We on our back roads, our country roads that are bumpy, that have got potholes, that have got dips. And I tell you what, when you push this car, it is just so good, so precise. I can make a direction change under brakes at speed, and wherever I point that wheel, that is where this Cayman is going to be turning. It's a driver's tool, let me tell you. It is supreme. The Cayman S does 0 to 100 in 5 seconds. With that launch control, you're getting it down to 4.8, 4.9 seconds. And one thing I can tell you about Porsche, if they tell you that it's going to do that time, it'll do it. Launch after launch after launch. They've also gone and put carbon ceramic brakes in here. It's nearly 100 grand for that. You don't need that. But the Porsche brakes are good enough, and they don't fade either. But I tell you what, the stopping power and the carbon ceramics are just absolutely immense. But I cannot get over just how well set up this car is. The balance of it is just unbelievable. With the looks and the styling, it's not like the ugly duckling. It's not like the poor man's Porsche anymore. You choose a Cayman S over a 911. I think you're clever. I think you're inspired, because you've picked the better car. Third generation Cayman S, you've just moved that benchmark of perfection. So after spending most of the day attacking mountain passes, the question is there really a competitor to the Cayman? I'd like to say yeah, and that would probably be the F-Type, but we've only driven that 5-litre supercharged V8, whereas its real competitor potentially could be that 3-litre V6 supercharged. But it really, for 834,000 Rand, it is an unbelievable purchase. If it was my money, knowing all the cars that we've driven, this is where I would spend my bucks. And I look at the guy that buys this car. When he arrives, I know that he hasn't said, listen, I want a car for styling and for posing and for looking good. That is the role the Boxster fulfills, even though it is a brilliant car too. The Cayman, I know you've bought it because you're wanting a driving tool. You are going to have fun galore, but trust me on this, you're going to have a lot of other galore too.